Well, hey everybody, it's me, Jermaine, and I'm back for the first time in quite some time with another episode of that verbal cup of morning coffee. I have my regular cup of coffee, and this is the morning thoughts. Well, the morning thought today, ladies and gentlemen, is about our education system here in the United States. Now, just recently, a few weeks ago, the President Barack Hussein Obama, he put out a decree almost. He basically had a big meeting in the White House and invited a lot of college-age students, as well as students that are on their way to college. So you have students that are already in college and students that are on their way to college. And it was all about student loans and the importance of an education. And I'm going to leave a link below of a video that was done by another independent source. I think I always forget his first name, but I think it's Green is his last name for sure. I think it's Chris Green. If I'm wrong, you'll see the video and you'll know. And he definitely does a phenomenal job of explaining this situation. But the morning thought perspective on this is, it's the fact that we live in a country where debt is encouraged for everyone to be saddled with. Now there's a scripture that says the borrower is the servant to the lender. And if the country that we live in is encouraging its younger generation to be saddled with debt, that it's so important to have an education, that it's good to take on this debt because education is that important. It just seems to me that, wouldn't it be simpler or more simple, maybe that's the better word to use, wouldn't it be more simple to reduce the cost of this so-called so important education and make it more affordable to go and get this education, rather than the education itself soaring through the roof as far as price, and these college-age students, or these college students, potential college students, when they get out of school, they are so buried under the mountain of debt that they are starting behind the proverbial 8 ball. And then the education that is received, how viable is it in this ever-changing landscape that we live in? I remember a few years ago, it's been maybe about 6-7 years ago now, maybe 10. Wow, how time flies. When I was attending the University of Phoenix, and one of the classes I was taking, there was a statement that was made that said that, by the time a person starts college and then ends college, the degree for which they are seeking, by the time they're 4 years or 5 years, however many years it takes for you to achieve that degree, that thing that you went to school for has changed quite a bit, and you would need even more education upon graduation to be competitive. Now, I'll be the first to say it, and those out there that want to, put me into the category of being a conspiracy theorist, I believe it's a setup. I really do. You go to school, you seek this education that they are telling you that you must have. You must have this fine and great education from these institutions of higher learning. And then once you get that education, the paper is practically worthless. I believe it's a setup. I really and truly do. And something that is that important, if you seek it, you shouldn't have to almost give your financial life to have it and then spend the rest of your natural life trying to pay for what you received that was supposedly going to make your life better. How can something make your life better that is putting you under so much pressure to begin with? Just something to think about and something to consider. And one last thing. Those in this country that are the so-called wealthy, like the Bill Gates and the Stephen Jobs and the Ted Turners, and many of those did not fully complete their education. Now, they were in school. Mark Zuckerberg's, these names that people know when it comes to success, well, what this world considers success. It's awful funny how these people never fully completed their education. I'm not saying all of them, but a great number of them did not complete the so-called education. They came up with some sort of idea. They got some backing. Or in some cases, they stole their ideas and got some backing. And then eventually went on to success. And now they're the main ones that are preaching you need to go to school and get this fine education, become saddled with debt, and your life is going to be much better. Boy, oh boy, this has been the Morning Thoughts. And I hope that with this episode of the Morning Thoughts, I've been able to give you something to think about, something to motivate you, something to cause you to think about what's going on around you. Consider what's going on around you. And I look forward to sharing and brewing up another pot of this verbal coffee, which is the Morning Thoughts, real soon. And I thank you for your support, and have a wonderful morning.